This is how the Trump presidency ends, with violence and death, with condemnation from allies.
What we witnessed was an assault on democracy by violent rioters, incited by the current president.
With a desperate last grab for power in the face of rejection and defeat.
We had an election that was stolen from us.
The invasion of the Washington, D.C. Capitol that left 5 dead and countless injured has now netted dozens of arrests, with authorities rounding up the now infamous faces of the insurrection. But the accused ringleader is yet to face consequences, something Congress is looking to fix, with 180 members co-signing an impeachment resolution that accuses the president of willfully inciting violence against the government. If passed, Trump would become the first president in history to be impeached twice.
Sadly, the person who's running the executive branch is a deranged, unhinged, dangerous president. There should be prosecution against him.
A new poll says 57% of Americans want Trump immediately removed from office, and a growing number of Republicans have joined the chorus.
Donald Trump has acted shamefully. He has been in flagrant dereliction of his duty, and he will be remembered for having incited this and for having drawn more division into an already divided people.
With all speedy avenues for removal improbable, Trump will likely remain in the White House until Biden's inauguration, a ceremony the outgoing president promised not to attend.
One of the few things he and I have ever agreed on.
But with 10 days left to go, can the Republic survive the wait?
The Hill's editor-at-large, Steve CLEMONS, joins us now from the US. OK, give it to us straight, Steve. As of tonight, what do you think the odds are of Trump not making it to the end of his term?
Look, nobody wants Donald Trump to finish the end of his term, except maybe just a few people. But Donald Trump is not in the business of making other people happy. And he's very, very committed to making it to the end of his term. Mike Pence has decided not to Article 25 him, which is not to say he's not going to call him out as unfit. And while the House Democrats are going to impeach him, nobody has time enough in the next 10 days to remove him. So my bet is 99% likely he's going to fill out this term. There's always that 1% chance that, you know, you got to put a little chip on the table.
So, Steve, in the days that do remain of this Trump presidency, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi wants the nuclear codes taken away from him. I know we've seen some pretty bonkers stuff from this administration, but is that really a risk?
Well, that's a big question, and many of us think it is. Many of us worried just a few days ago, and we discussed it here on this station, that Donald Trump may have been considering ways to use the military to intervene in this election. Not that he would drop a nuclear bomb on anyone in America, but Donald Trump looks at himself as president, wants to go down in history, and doesn't want to leave the White House. And so as he's leaving in a very angry way, we've been worried about seeing greater deployments in the Middle East, worried about what he might be doing leaving office with regards to Iran. So absolutely, the nuclear codes is not a silly worry right now. But the fact is, the president is the president, and he's going to have those nuclear codes until 12 p.m. on January 20th.
Well, Steve, Trump's supporters clearly aren't willing to admit defeat. How worried are authorities about violence at Joe Biden's inauguration?
Right now, they are on high alert and very, very worried. Not only is the Department of Homeland Security and others seeing more chatter about people bringing guns and weapons into Washington on January 20th and seeing the resolve and discussions in many of these chat rooms that QAnon and other conspiracy groups are part of, white nationalist groups are part of. They want to continue to stop the steal as they see it. And we've seen the big companies like Twitter, who just chopped Donald Trump's access to that platform off. He is no longer on Twitter, and other platforms beginning to put some barriers in there for not only Donald Trump, but some of his supporters, his closest supporters. And they have been reporting the reason that they're doing that is that they see an increased discussion and propensity among his followers for violence. So I think people are very, very worried about January 20th and what may happen that day.
Well, the other thing is that Trump says he won't even be attending Biden's inauguration. I want to know, is there any chance that we can still get a camera on him when Biden gets sworn in?
I think, well, before this whole assault on the Capitol began, the rumor was that Donald Trump was going to fly Air Force One down to Mar-a-Lago, skip the inauguration, and go have a big party, a big rally in Florida. And so we were going to have a split screen on TV with Joe Biden getting, sworn in on one side of the screen and Donald Trump on the other saying, look, this was all stolen. So I would say that the odds are higher that we're going to be able to get a camera on him on that day than it is that he's going to leave office early.
Well, 10 days and counting. Thanks as always, Steve.
My pleasure.
It's interesting, Mike Pence really was the target of a lot of the aggression at the Capitol. Interestingly, former vice presidents don't get the full Secret Service protection that former presidents do. But the problem for Mike Pence is if he's already the target of people who are aggressive in the Trump camp against him, that would worry him in retirement from the VP's role. But in order to get that full protection, I think they'd be even more after him if he was to enact Amendment 25 and therefore take Trump out and become president just for a couple of days.
Yeah. That was really interesting. Just quickly, Steve talking about that split screen on Inauguration Day. There'll be lots of networks where there'll be a huge fight over whether or not they split the screen because there'll be ratings in that.
Yep.
We'll wait and see.